Long time no see, everybody! It's Glitter Informer here to talk to you about what little we currently know about the 2026 Pretty Cure season, May Tante Pretty Cure. If you care enough about this franchise to have clicked on this video, you've probably already watched a ton of actual good Pretty Cure YouTubers who actually have work ethic, so you likely already know that May Tante translates to English as Star Detective. Not star as in celestial object, star as in famous. This is not going to be a rehash of Star Twinkle Pretty Cure. Right now we have precious little information about the upcoming 23rd season of Pretty Cure. We don't even know when the show is going to air. This one guy on Reddit said there's going to be a preview of the opening theme in the first episode on January 4th, but I have no idea if there's any evidence to back this up. But there's enough breadcrumbs that we can make a short video to follow the trail. First of all, let's talk about the obvious, the detective theme. I think this is a genius idea for a theme. If you've seen what precious little I've gotten around to uploading this year, you know that I've gotten into the Danganronpa franchise. I do not expect this show for little girls to become a murder mystery, nor do I want it to. But I love the idea of a more light-hearted but still convoluted mystery with lots of twists and turns. Perhaps each episode could involve our main character solving a new mystery for one of the random people around town. It would be awesome if this show really fleshed out its supporting cast like how Heartcatch did. Another reason I'm excited about the detective theme is because it'll give us a chance to have an actually smart main character. The typical lead cure is your typical bubbly ditz, but this time, our main character will have to solve mysteries, and that requires brain power. Ooh. I would love to actually have a genius character who is able to outsmart the audience, and when it's revealed how she managed to solve the mystery at the end of each episode, we're all like, oh, it's so obvious in hindsight, but I never would have thought of that. There's few things more satisfying than the end of a well-written mystery where all of the puzzle pieces click into place and you wonder how you could have ever possibly thought anybody else was the culprit. So here's my prediction for how the beginning of the series is going to go. I think, much like Happiness Charge Pretty Cure, and unlike any of the other seasons, our main cure is going to be the last to transform. In each season, the cures always have to keep the whole magical girl thing a secret, right? Well, our main character is a detective. She probably works for her parents' private eye company or something, so she's able to pick up on the subtle clues and figure out the other cure's secret. That's how she ends up joining them in the end. But what will our titular Pretty Cures look like? Well, some leaks came out of just this information, and on Christmas Day, an official magazine showed the silhouettes of our starting cast of cures, and they looked just like the leaks. Let's talk about it. We will start our adventure with 4 cures. Cure Answer, Cure Mystic, Cure Arcana Shadow, and Cure Eclair. Don't ask me where these names come from. I found them on May Tante's page on the Pretty Cure wiki, and I trust the admins there not to put up fake info. To start out with, it seems like Cure Answer is our lead cure and is also purple? Guys, I'm so happy that Tropical Rouge paved the way for non-pink lead cures to be a thing. First the rainbow cure Summer, then the blue cure Sky, and now the purple cure Answer. This is amazing, and honestly, purple is a great main color for a mystery-themed season. It reminds me of Kyoko Kirigiri from Danganronpa, not to mention the color contrast between her green eyes and purple, everything else is gorgeous. Oh, and speaking of Danganronpa, Cure Answer has an ahoge. This girl gives us so much mystery protagonist energy, I can't even. Next, we have our pink cure, Cure Mystic. This marks one of the few times that a pink cure isn't a lead. However, judging by the leaked packaging of the gummy candies, it seems like Cure Answer and Cure Mystic will start out as a tight-knit duo. Maybe it'll be a Wonderful type situation where they debut and transform separately, but spend the first chunk of the show fighting side by side, just them against the world. Or maybe it'll be the first time since 2016 where they need each other to transform. There's not a ton to say about Cure Mystic on her own. I think it's interesting that she has a slightly more subdued expression than her purple partner. Usually it's the other way around, the pink one's more energetic. Also, Cure Mystic's bangs are really interesting. They remind me of Gaku from the 100 Line Last Defense Academy. That's all I have to say on that matter, so let's talk about how Answer and Mystic work together. The glimpses we have so far of these two are very low quality, but even so, you can tell just from their skirts that they go together really well. They also both have hearts in their hair. Answer's hearts are at the bottom, while Mystic's hearts are further up top. I love Cure Mystic's kebab-looking hair. Also, one of the leaks shows their civilian forms. It's interesting that both of them have completely different color schemes when they aren't transformed. Cure Answer's civilian outfit is mostly pink, while Cure Mystic's is predominantly red. Also, it seems like Cure Answer will have orange hair in civilian form. It's a bit hard to tell due to the image resolution, but if that's true, that would make her the first lead Cure to have orange hair in civilian form since all the way back 2006. Alright, that's about it for these two. Let's move on to the most long-winded name out of these four. Cure Arcana Shadow. We've never had a main character Cure whose name is more than just 2 words long, but Cure Arcana Shadows is 3 words long. The closest I can think of are Cure Macherie and Cure La Mer, but both of them have 2 short words smushed together into 1 word. Judging by the space or character between Arcana and Shadow in her Japanese name, it's safe to assume that's not the case for Cure Arcana Shadow. Also, Cure Arcana Shadow is Cure. It's really strange that even though Futari wa Pretty Cure is the most successful and iconic season in its native Japan, and one of its 2 main characters had so much black in her color scheme that she was literally named Cure Black, the idea of a main character Cure with a black theme color was never revisited again until this year with Cure Kiss. And now it seems they're making up for lost time by having 2 black Cures in a row. But here's the thing. I don't think Cure Arcana Shadow's color scheme is going to stick around forever. Because, you know the only other Cures who have names longer than 2 words? You have Dark Cure Dream, Dark Cure Rouge, etc. from the Yes Pretty Cure 5 movie. You have Bad End Happy, Bad End Sunny, etc. from Smile Pretty Cure. And you have Dark Pretty Cure from Heart Catch Pretty Cure. What do these characters all have in common? They're all evil. Besides, I sincerely doubt anyone with Shadow in their name is a heroic character in this franchise. So here's what I predict the deal is. Cure Arcana Shadow used to just be Cure Arcana before she was corrupted by evil in some way or another. Eventually, she will be converted back into the original good Cure Arcana. Then, her theme color is going to be yellow. The leaks show that there are 4 fairies, pink, purple, teal, and yellow. Pink, purple, and teal are all represented in the 3 cures other than Arcana Shadow, but the yellow's gotta come in somewhere at some point. The yellow fairy is probably associated with Cure Arcana's true, uncorrupted form. It'll be a shame not to have the cool black color scheme stick around forever, but also, we haven't had a yellow cure since 2022's Cure Yum Yum. Even then, Yum Yum's outfit was more orange than yellow. One more thing before we move on. In the official silhouette release, Cure Arcana Shadow is holding a freaking staff. That's awesome! Usually Pretty Cure weapons are a lot tinier, otherwise they're more difficult to merchandise, you know? And finally, we have, in my opinion, the most mysterious member of our quartet, the Teal Cure, Cure Eclair. Sure, it's another case of Toei being too afraid to make a green character and instead running back crying into Teal's arms, but we did get Cure Zukyun this year, and she's almost as green as she is white. More importantly, the other 3 cures all have their civilian forms clearly shown in the leaks, but nobody in the leaks clearly matches up with Cure Eclair. However, there is one civilian shown who isn't one of these 3 girls. It's an elementary school looking boy, and he's wearing a teal shirt. Could it be that Cure Eclair is our first main character male cure since 2023? On the one hand, the boy clearly matches up with the yellow fairy. They both have the exact same goggles. It seems that just like Tsubasa from Hirogaru Sky, the boy is actually a fairy who can turn into a human. And frankly, it would be weird for a yellow fairy to turn into a teal cure, especially since one of the other fairies is teal. If any of the fairies were Cure Eclair, it would probably be the teal one. Also, though we don't have a good view of Cure Eclair, it's pretty clear that they're wearing a skirt just like the other girls. We could have a Yaitabashi on our hands, but being one of the main characters of a show for young children, it seems unlikely. But why would they show this boy so prominently if he wasn't a cure? Sure, he could just be an important side character like Satoru in Wonderful Pretty Cure, but Satoru didn't appear at all in the leaks for that season. By contrast, Mystery Boy is shown right alongside the 3 girls and is equally prominent as them. Also, Cure Eclair seems to have shorter hair than the other cures. That would be unusual for a modern-day Pretty Cure, unless that cure was a guy. Also, back in Meitantei Pretty Cure in 2018, there was a prominent male side character who regularly wore dresses and even became a side character cure, so this franchise clearly has no problem with dudes in dresses. And that's about it! I'm super excited for the trailers for this show to be released. I look forward to finding out how many of my predictions were correct and how many were dreadfully wrong. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and feel free to let me know what your predictions are. Oh, and one more thing before you go. The Japanese voice actor of Shuichi from Danganronpa V3 also voiced Nico in the Smile Pretty Cure movie. Okay, goodbye for real this time.